My name is Arthur, and I am a man of routines. I like my coffee at 7 a.m., my newspaper at 7:30. I like my surroundings to remain exactly as they were the day before. I live in a Victorian estate that's been in my family for generations. It's a house filled with oil paintings of ancestors who all seem to share the same disapproving scowl. The most prominent is Great-Uncle Silas. His portrait hangs in the study, a massive, gold-framed canvas depicting a man with piercing gray eyes. But this morning, something was different. Silas wasn't looking at the middle distance anymore. He was looking at me. I set the mug down, my hand trembling. When I looked back, his eyes had returned, but his hand was no longer resting. The fingers were slightly curled. Then I smelled the sharp, unmistakable scent of fresh oil paint, wet and pungent. By the third day, the trick of the light became reality. Silas was leaning forward now, his expression shifting to a predatory hunger. I became a man possessed. I set up a high-definition camera on a tripod, angled directly at the canvas. At 3:14 a.m., the canvas rippled like water. Silas's chest expanded. He took a long, slow breath. I found a ledger in the attic. It was a contract describing the gilded succession. Every 50 years, Timastir was immortalized. The spirit was transferred into the pigment, and the body left as a hollow shell. Today was exactly 50 years since the last one. I went to the basement and opened Silas's casket. Inside lay a roll of painted fabric, shredded and gray. The body was gone. I burst into the study. The gold frame was empty. A smear of wet, black paint trailed across the floor. I found him in the kitchen. Silas was a two-dimensional nightmare, a flickering silhouette of oil clinging to the wall like a shadow. "Arthur," the shadow hissed. "The frame is cold." I swung the poker, but it passed right through him. He began to merge with my own shadow. I felt a sudden, agonizing chill. My skin felt tight, like being stretched over wood. I collapsed. I looked at my hands. They were turning a dull, ochre yellow. My veins were darkening into strokes of charcoal. Silas stood over me, his form becoming three-dimensional as mine faded. He picked up my coffee mug and took a sip. I dragged myself to the empty frame. "If you destroy the frame, you destroy yourself," Silas said, standing in the doorway. I swung the poker at the gold frame. The wood splintered. A blinding, white light erupted from the cracks. I was standing in the study. I felt fine. My hands were flesh and bone. "I did it," I whispered. The canvas was just a landscape. I pulled back the curtains to look at the real valley. But there was no valley. Outside the window was a giant wooden wall, thousands of feet above me. I saw a ceiling and a giant light fixture. Suddenly, a giant hand reached down. It held a brush the size of a redwood tree. The brush dipped into blue oil. The brush swept across my windows. The valley vanished, replaced by a fresh, wet layer of sky. Inside the frame on the wall was a tiny version of a Victorian study. I wasn't the man. I was the painting. The giant eye of the artist appeared in the sky, looking down through a magnifying glass. "Perfect," a voice boomed. "This one looks so real, you'd think he was breathing." Then, the artist turned off the light.